Hello everyone, Brad Johnson here, and in this video I'm going to be bringing in Adronis as he's going to be talking about experiencing a download, part 2, light symbols. As we have spoken previously, that the idea of connecting with a download is actually helping you to shift timelines, helping you to move into new reality points, new junctures in that way, helping you to get more of a greater understanding about the new reality, as it were, that's helping you in that sense to realize more about who you are by focusing that state of emotion, feeling, thought, intention, and helping you in that sense to continue to accelerate and advance yourself throughout those particular timeline shifts. But Adronis, what about these symbols that I keep receiving? I may close my eyes, I may go into meditation, all of a sudden I start seeing these geometric symbols, or again, other strange symbols that may represent some type of ancient writing. All of a sudden I'm feeling like they're coming into me. And as they start to come into me, I can start to feel a change. What's taking place? Well, you're being updated. That's the idea. These light symbols in that were, as what they are doing is they are helping to ingrain themselves, integrate themselves into your DNA. And so in this sense, this is the language of DNA. This is the language of light that's helping you to reintegrate your body. No more different than how many of your computer systems, through its hardware, are able to update its software so that it can run much more proficiently. Its operating system, in that sense, is now being upgraded, updated, and now it runs faster than it did before. It's now able to perform a lot more things than it did before. The exact same thing here. That's all that's happening. Is your own higher self, and again, workers that are again operating together on your higher self's behalf are sending in these light symbols. And they are integrating within your brain, they're integrating within your DNA, they're integrating within your energy field, and they are therefore making changes. You're being updated. Your own operating system in that sense is going through greater changes. So you may notice in that sense that it might be easier to perform some particular type of motor function. You may notice that you're actually able to remember a lot more things than you could before. You're actually able to notice that you're receiving information that you didn't know of before, and now you're able to share it. You're again noticing physical changes to your body. You may notice in that sense that your feet may get a little bit smaller, or maybe you grew a quarter of an inch. There are many different components to the idea of these light download frequencies, to these symbols. So these symbols do represent a particular form of coherent language, but again, it is not really translatable as it relates to what you would know throughout your verbal speech, because many of these particular symbols cannot be defined. They all work together with the language of DNA. It's not to say that all of them are like that. What you're discovering with many of these symbols is that they're packets. They're like downloadable, quote-unquote, zip files, like what you have on your computers. These archive files contain a great deal of information within the symbol. Now, there are many different civilizations that operate telepathic language through the use of such symbols. So you may simply see a cross-like symbol here, like a plus sign, and you feel that symbol coming into you, and all of a sudden you just get this flurry of downloads, of feelings, that you actually are able to be aware of a guide that has actually just come into your space. It's because this particular guide has shared this telepathic symbol with you, and now you're able to know the guide's name, you're able to know exactly what plane they reside in. You can understand much more about what they're here to do with you. They're also, again, in that sense, giving you a background about how you can advance yourself a lot more. You can get an idea of their teachings. But it's not going to always come together just like that. When many of you have downloads, you'll start getting, again, a flurry of information flowing through, but you'll get bits at a time. Well, Adronis, why does this happen? Why do we only get bits of information at a time that may often play out for many years? It's because you as an entity, in regards to the totality of yourself from the moment that you were born, from the moment that you transition, are a packet, yourself. And so when you're actually looking at these symbols that come into yourself and they digest themselves into you, they will function together with appropriate slices of intervals that represent yourself, that will represent this change you're going through as it flows through the packet that represents yourself. You yourself as an entity, as this shard of your soul in that way, are again a packet of information. And so you identify this body, this personality complex, with a simple symbol. This conduit Brad has a symbol relating to his own packet of personality, we would say. And you see a blue shield, and you see a golden tree of light inside that. That's the packet of Adronis. And again, that's Brad's name in that sense as well, just on a higher level. Therefore, he's connecting to the result of that higher level, which represents ourselves. So having that simple symbol, a blue shield with a golden tree contained in it, is again a packet of information. And that is storing all of his personality complex within that simple symbol. So again, a person may in that sense send you a music note. And even though it looks kind of like a music note, it's actually something different. You're receiving that note, it's being ingrained into you, all of a sudden you're getting some particular type of reaction. Something of a flurry of information is flowing through you. And here's the thing, it doesn't just affect your present life. It's affecting everything. It's rewriting your past. It's rewriting your present. And it's now harmonizing the decisions that you're going to make as it relates to your probable future. So when you're actually experiencing these downloads, you'll actually feel compelled to work within the aspects of your past to align the memories appropriate to the packet download that you have actually received. So for example, if you feel that you have had a rough childhood and you felt that you were arguing with your mother and your father regarding something, all of a sudden you receive this packet and you just feel completely compelled to revisit that memory and you harmonize it. It now becomes love. Now you imagine yourself, your mother and your father holding hands and embracing with love. And you don't know why this happened, you just felt compelled to change it. Well, that's exactly what this packet is doing. It's overwriting the idea of old memories that no longer suit you. And it's now allowing you to move into the perspective of completely harmonizing these other aspects of memory, so that you're now becoming a brand new person, like a snake that sheds its skin, or like the cocoon that now emerges a butterfly. That's what's happening. And so when many of you are going through these packets, through these, again, light symbol downloads, you're noticing that the skin is now shedding, and you're starting to become a new person. You feel compelled to go into your past and start correcting it. There's just a very strong drive and ambition to do that. You start making peace with all those people around you. You no longer start to think so much about how your past has been harmful, because those that are continuing to do that are just fueling the fire. And so these downloads can help you to go back into your past, and they instruct you about what you actually need to do to resolve old matters. So what you're basically doing is you're sewing up the nature of your old paradigm, and you're birthing a brand new paradigm within yourself, as we talked about through the idea of living in a new paradigm. You're harmonizing the past so that you can live in harmony with the present, here and now. That's again what many of these particular light symbols can do. They rearrange your DNA, they work with your energy field, they work together with the neurological pathways, they work with memory. They do all of these different things to helping you become reborn. You are being rebirthed. You're moving from these chambers. You're again peeling off these old unnecessities because they no longer represent who you are. So again, yes, there can certainly be languages through some of these symbols because it is quite a broad range. But what many of you commonly experience relating to light language, relating to light symbols, light circuitry, etc., are those which you really cannot put into some particular type of thought concept. You really can't explain what's happening other than saying, I feel lighter, I just feel happier, I just feel like 1,000 pounds have fallen off my shoulders, and I feel lighter than air. That's how you're best able to describe these symbols as they come through you. So again, as we've stated, there can be beings that can send you these telepathic transmissions utilizing telepathic packet symbols, and you're able to get a very strong idea about what they're about and what they're here to do. You can also do the same thing as you start to work together with telepathic language. You choose a symbol, and again, this has been done, for example, what you would know as your sigils. And you're able to create these sigils based upon a certain phrase. And you're able to put them together and create something very, very appealing. And that's the sigil that you focus on. That contains a packet of information. But we're actually saying for you to go even deeper than that. You actually are able to discover your soul symbol. And your soul symbol is an entire packet representing yourself. Adronis, can this be something that's consciously created? If you were to try and consciously create this, it would pretty much take the whole part of your life. And you don't need to create it. No. It's the idea that something is going to be given to you through your own soul at the appropriate timing. You have to request it. It cannot be given to you. It is only given to you through the soul itself. And so you can, throughout your own development of yourself, reach a certain point where you can ask your own soul to provide you with your soul symbol. And this soul symbol, again, is the entire packet that represents the entire personality, linear, causality aspect of your life in a single symbol. So again, that is something that needs to be given to you by your own soul. Just as the symbol of the blue shield and the golden tree of light is again given to this conduit, representing his energy as Adronis. So again, that's how it can work. Now, of course, you can create your own symbols, but when it comes to the idea of the entirety of this life in this packet, then again, that needs to be given to you by your own soul, because it is a very, very personal thing. All right? So that's something that you can continue to explore with if you wish. But again, many of these light downloads are just another particular type of language, a language that is far surpassing the idea of vocality. Vocality is slow. It is very clumsy. It's not something that even has any particular type of efficiency as it relates to the sharing of one's own essence to another person, to another being, etc. So this is basically letting you know that in your times to come, you will eventually evolve your language to where there can be telepathic symbols. This will basically be guided to you by your own interstellar mentors, teaching you telepathic language. Because much of your ancient language that was once quite telepathic, in that sense, has often been buried or burned away, kept away for good. So again, when you're working together with these star mentors of yourselves, there will be new languages that will come upon your civilization that will help you to develop your telepathic nature, empathic telepathy. And again, utilizing these particular forms of translatable symbols, where you'll receive a symbol and you'll just instantly know everything relating to that subject, whatever's contained in that packet. You can therefore create these symbols again and send it to another person. That person knows everything about you with everything that you have allowed to produce within that packet, which means you're basically downloading a 2-hour conversation within a matter of seconds. And so again, this is the idea of self-appointed symbols, the aspect that symbols themselves have their own archetypes. And that when you're bonding these symbol archetypes together, and therefore putting the theme that they represent into them, now you're sending it off to a person. They receive it, instant download. They've now received an entire one-day conversation within a matter of seconds, and they're able to process it all. That is essence communication. That is your language as you move ahead further and further in your generations to come. So, in a nutshell, that's the nature of these light downloads and what they can do for you once you receive them.